Sean Lloyd, guys like that. They're all going to have a decision to make. All of these things are married. So how much is South Carolina's timeline as far as finding the next OC related to that in terms of maybe having that OC work as a pitch to keep the guys? And with that, how much is keeping those guys important and maybe helping appeal to a potential OC candidate?
Yeah, I mean, I think you nailed it. Like it all ties together. Ideally, yeah, you want the best guy you can get as fast as possible because, but both those things tie together. I think somebody like Spencer Rattler, if I'm an OC and I know there's even a possibility of this guy coming back and being tied to him, that maybe, you know, factors into my decision. The other side of it, if I'm Spencer Rattler or Juice Wells or any of those guys, I want to know who, hey, what are we doing here? Who's my OC going to be? What's the approach moving forward? With the way Rattler finished the season, I got to think at least highly considering going ahead and making the jump to the NFL. And I don't know if he would want to, not speaking for him, but I don't know if he wants to learn a completely different system again next year. But I think, this is a thing where all these things are tied together. You ultimately want the best hire you can make. So
right, that's not going to change. Like, you're not going to have Spencer Rattler decide to go pro and then be like, nah, we'll get someone that sucks like that. But Chris, let me ask it to you like this. And just throwing these names out, like Wes mentioned, maybe it's likely that Spencer leaves anyway. And I'll just take a name from your hot list and Garrett Riley, who maybe couldn't accept the job for a while anyway, because he's going to have a college football playoff he's trying to win. But are you using Spencer Rattler to recruit Garrett Riley, or are you using Garrett Riley to recruit Spencer Rattler?
Well, both, just like you said, all tied together.
But one has to happen first, right? Like, it's a staring contest. It's a chicken or egg kind of deal.
I mean, all the deadlines are all different, and it's also two. Even though they are tied together, it's two different situations. And look, I think Spencer Rattler will factor that into his choice, but I think ultimately, the point for Spencer is going to be what is his current draft stock. Okay, if that's at a point where he feels good about it, good enough to leave, because remember, the original plan for him was to be one and done here. And obviously, most of the year didn't go as envisioned on that front. But even with the last two games that he had, it's not like he's a top 2-round draft pick right now. That's not the case. So it's, where is his draft stock? Does he think he can improve upon that draft stock as the process goes on? And is that good enough for him to go? If it's questionable to him, then he's going to start looking at other things, and so now for Shane Beamer, and you mentioned like Garrett Riley, whose timeline might be different than somebody else's, because as you said, there is that looming possibility that they could make the college football playoff, and that changes the equation. If they don't make it, that changes the equation, right? Potentially for him individually. For Shane Beamer, you've got to, not even want to, you've got to get this hire right. It's a very important hire. And so not that he's going to do this, but you never want your, one of your main parts of hiring a guy to be, well, he was available. Like when you hear that, that's never good. And so if it becomes necessary to wait past some certain point, whatever that is, if you can get the guy and that's the guy, that's the best guy, then you can do it. So it's kind of hard to predict right now how all that's going to play out, especially when we don't know, who is the top candidate or the top 2 or 3 candidates. I don't know that it's taken enough shape for us to know for sure, what that is. And I'm with Wes. I mean, the possibility that Spencer leaves is a distinct one, but do we know that for sure? No.
Yeah, this is really where it gets interesting to me, because what is the potential trickle down or fallout? I don't know how you want to say it, from when you hire the OC as far as the staff is concerned.
I mean, I think that's always something that's going to be on the table. And what you're asking is basically, this guy's going to want to bring in some of his own people. Yeah, I think it's obviously going to depend on the guy. It's going to depend on who he hires and But we talked about this yesterday off the air. Every coach has his guys. And, when you're at a new place, it's usually a combination of these are my guys, and then these are the head coach's guys. And it seems like a lot of times you'll have maybe a situation where the head coach might be like, hey, if you're coming, these guys are locked in. Like, these are my guys. We need to keep them versus, hey, you got one spot. You got one opening, I think. So, and usually it feels like, depending on the coach, O-line guys and OC guys always tend to be tied together. And you do kind of have a unique situation at South Carolina at that particular position right now.
That's exactly what I was thinking. But both of the folks who were working with the offensive line were directly connected to Marcus Satterfield, correct?
Teasley, yes.
Mm-hmm.
Chris is Atkins, or that was more of a Beamer.
Yeah, I'm trying to go through Atkins. I mean, gosh, 30-something years coaching.
Atkins wasn't on
there was a
staff.
carryover.
I'm sorry to cut you. My fault. Atkins wasn't on staff for a majority of the year because due to whatever reason. So
Yeah.
Right.
Teasley
yeah.
was the coach who was acting in as the OL, and he is directly connected to
Yep.
Marcus Satterfield, right?
Correct.
That's right.
Okay. Yeah. And I thought did a really good job
It was
taking over that role.
There was notable improvement.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's interesting. Going in and out, I guess, to your point about OCs bringing guys with them, taking guys with them, what that might mean for South Carolina in terms of potential other vacancies. Obviously, right now, Marcus Satterfield is the only coach on the 2022 staff that's made a decision. Is it safe to assume that just in the ever-changing world of college football that Carolina may have another position or two to fill at some point this offseason?
Yeah, I mean that's college football, and let's just go ahead and add another layer to this because there's so many layers to it. Not only do you have the possibility of OCs bringing coaches, what about the fairly new possibility of them bring players? I mean, we see it all the time now. We see guys, oh, my coach is leaving, I'm out of here. Maybe they weren't quite as happy at their old spot anyway. Well, I'm going to follow coach there. Or you have situations where maybe a player didn't even choose the initial school, but has entered the portal, independently from that, but sees, wow, I did really like that coach. Let's say Carolina hires, Bryles or Garrett Riley or whoever. Man, that was my second school when I picked. I really did like him. Let me reach out. So a lot of times these portal guys end up either or some combination of back at home or with someone they had a prior relationship with, and maybe just for whatever reason they didn't choose that school. But I'll say this: I truly believe South Carolina is going to be well situated to hit the portal, and I think honestly they're going to have to. Like, it's an important offseason because, I mean, look no further than senior day. Like, there were a lot of guys walking that were key contributors to this team, and then there are guys that are, Cam Smith. I think the assumption has been since the beginning of the year, this would probably be his last at South Carolina. He has admitted as much that was probably his last game at Williams-Brice 2 weekends ago. So you're going to have to replace some guys like that. This is not going to be a situation necessarily where you look and say, wow, they bring everybody back. I think going to be very important to hit the portal, but they're going to hit it aggressively. I think it'll be very similar to last year where they have a lot of success in the portal.
And an interesting back and forth, like we talked about, between establishing the coaches that are going to be coaching those players and the players making those decisions, both incoming and outgoing. So we'll continue to monitor all of it as best we can. Wes and Chris, of course, doing a great job of that on Gamecock Central. We'll have more thoughts on the OC search. And I got an interesting suggestion here from the text line, 803-404-6100. That's the Firehouse Subs text line. Also the Love Chevy phone line number, same thing there. And you can get all of us on Twitter as well, at Pearson Fowler, at Coach P Tweets, at Wes Mitchell GC, and at GC Chris Clark.
The Early Game with Bill Gunter and Jen Jensen on your home of the Gamecocks, 107.5 The Game.
This is Damon Amendolara with your CBS Sports Minute, sponsored by AutoZone. Get in the zone. AutoZone. The idea of Jeff Saturday as head coach of the Colts probably gave some fans an Indy hope. Likeable guy, fun takes on TV. But after a few months of this, it's going to get real old real quickly if it hasn't already. This is Damon Amendolara.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Welcome to AutoZone. What are you working on today? Thinking about gas mileage. You know, changing your oil with a full synthetic oil like Pennzoil Platinum can help your engine get more miles. Right now, you can get 5 quarts with an STP extended life oil filter for only $38.99. Get everything you need for better fuel efficiency at any of our 6,200 stores or on AutoZone.com.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Restrictions apply.
Today on Fox.
Wow! Oh my goodness!
The Stars and Stripes must come out strong in a huge World Cup group stage clash.
And he just rifles his home.
Christian Pulisic once again leads the U.S. Young Guns.
Now that is magnificent!
As they take the field for a crucial showdown against Iran.
A moment of magic!
USA, Iran. Coverage begins today at 1 Eastern on Fox and the Fox Sports app.
If you're thinking about retiring soon, be sure to tune in to Save Your Retirement with Pat Struby of Preservation Specialists. Join Pat as he talks about the latest trends and headlines that could impact your retirement. Don't go into retirement unprepared. Listen each Sunday morning at 10 to Save Your Retirement with Pat Struby of Preservation Specialists. Firm offers insurance services, investment advisory services offered through Kalos Capital Incorporated.
Getting your home ready for the holidays? AAA Heating and Air wants to help you make sure you will be keeping your friends and family comfortable in your home. Call AAA Heating and Air at 803-677-1500 for a free ductwork check. Their reliable technicians thoroughly inspect your home's ductwork so you and yours don't get left out in the cold this holiday season. Call AAA Heating and Air at 803-677-1500 to schedule your free ductwork check today.
AAA Air when you need us. AAA Heating and Air.
Prescription products require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if a prescription is appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for full details and important safety information. Subscription required.
Hey guys, did you know there's a generic form of Viagra that works just the same but is 90% cheaper? And you can get it online? Just go to 4hims.com/radio. At Hims, you'll get a free medical consultation, discreet shipping if prescribed, a 100% online process, and trusted generic alternatives to the biggest brands at 90% off. That's right, get generic for Viagra, the same active ingredient as brand name Viagra, but 90% cheaper. It's the same medication you get from your doctor, but with zero copay, no expensive appointments, and no awkward face-to-face conversations. To start your free online visit, you need to go to this exclusive address, 4hims.com/radio. That's 4hims.com/radio for your free online visit. FORHIMS.com/RADIO.
Cashback is not available on gas in New Jersey and Wisconsin.
Susan, I'm sorry I'm late. Traffic is terrible.
It sure is. But on top of that, gas prices have been skyrocketing. I can't believe how expensive gas has gotten recently.
Prices at the pump are up, but I never pay full price for gas anymore. I just use the free Upside app that pays you cash back for every gallon of gas you buy.
Wait a minute. Are you saying you actually get paid cash when you buy gas with the Upside app?
Yes, I get real cash back every time I buy gas.
And does that actually add up to anything?
I've made around $200.
Wow, that's serious extra cash. I'm downloading the free Upside app now.
Download the free Upside app to earn real cash back every time you buy gas. Use promo code AUTO for an extra 25 cents per gallon cash back on your first fill-up. You can cash out anytime right to your bank account, to PayPal, or an e-gift card for Amazon and other brands. Just download the free Upside app and use promo code AUTO for a 25 cents per gallon bonus on your first tank. That's code AUTO for 25 cents per gallon cash back on your first fill-up.
Broadcasting live from the Herndon Chevrolet Studios. This is 107.5 The Game. Stop by or shop online today and see why Herndon Chevrolet makes you smile. It's the Gamecock Central Takeover Hour, presented by Firehouse Subs, founded by firemen with Pearson Fowler, Chris Clark, and Wes Mitchell on the home of the Gamecocks, 107.5 The Game.
20 minutes after 11 o'clock, Tuesday morning. It's the Gamecock Central Takeover Hour, and welcome back in. Pearson, Preston, Wes, Chris here with you. trying to make sense out of what's going to be a fast and furious and wild and chaotic and potentially confusing offseason for South Carolina. Trying to get an OC. They have an interim OC position to fill as well. The transfer portal, the early signing period. And oh yeah, the football season's not over yet. We have all the conference championship games this weekend. That may be a factor in terms of the guys that are getting jobs and not.
Something just hit me. Just hit me. Shane, when he took this job, right, he was still coaching at Oklahoma, and he stayed coaching at Oklahoma, correct?
Through the championship.
The
conference championship.
Is Nebraska in a championship game? I'm just trying to draw. They're not playing in any play. Are they playing in anything meaningful?
Are they bowl? I don't even know what their record is. I don't think they're bowl eligible.
No, they're
Are they 4-8?
They're bad. They're very bad.
Theoretically, the offensive coordinator here could stay through the bowl, even while taking the other job, right?
That's true. Yeah. Has it been determined whether or not that's going to happen?
No, he's not with the program anymore.
Okay.
Huh.
Yeah.
He's recruiting for Nebraska.
I find that very interesting.
I don't know if he's recruiting for Nebraska yet. Have they even officially announced that?
He's got the Nebraska helmet in his Twitter banner.
Yeah. I don't know if they put out a release, but regardless, he is not on staff.
I find that very interesting.
In what way?
Because there's a lot of coaches who could stay on staff. So I don't know whether he's leaving or he was told to leave or whatever, but the idea that he's not on staff, even if he has another job, I think that's very insightful.
Think, Wes, tell me if I'm wrong on this.
You're not.
Hopefully you know. I think you can do the whole two schools thing if you're a head coach.
Ah, okay.
You can't do it as an assistant, I don't
Okay.
think. You
All
have
right.
to have
Okay.
there's a lot of like recruiting exemptions and like that's when you see like, for instance, let's say South Carolina hired Coach A to be the OC tomorrow. Well,
great hire.
Yeah.
Love his offense.
He could not coach the bowl game, right? But he could go recruit for South Carolina.
Huh. Okay, so it's an
I
actual
think.
rule. This
Okay.
isn't a.
I think that's the case.
I'm just exploring the possibilities here. Just exploring.
Testing the waters.
I'm going to be very interested to see what Carolina's offense looks like in the bowl game, depending on who.
I think, honestly, I think you will see it's not going to, just like you can't change the offense in the middle of the season.
Right.
You're not going to go out there and, oh my gosh, what is this? You know, like it's not going to be like that.
Well, they kind of did for the North Carolina game.
A little bit. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, for sure. Well, yeah. I mean, there are definitely some wrinkles there, but like even some of those wrinkles we saw against North Carolina, we ended up seeing some this season, like the Joyner package.
Yeah.
I think what you'll see, we don't know yet. I don't even think it's been determined behind the scenes, at least communicated, like who is calling the plays, like who is the guy. But I think we'll basically see kind of what we saw the past 2 weeks of the season, which was
the blanket offense.
So the blanket offense and the dropper, you know what defense. And that basically that just being South Carolina's offense, but a scaled back, simplified version. And then, you know,
an aggressive version.
And then who, you know, personnel might be some differences there too.
Well, is whoever they haven't announced it yet. I don't know who the interim OC is going to be. Will that person have a chance to be the OC?
No.
Okay.
I mean, I don't mean to be so blunt, but
You should be, yeah.
Shane
If the answer is no, then no.
Yeah, Shane Beamer's expected to make an outside hire
Okay.
for this.
All right. And I guess we sort of beat around the bush there in the first segment, just in terms of what the timeline is. Internally, do they want it done before the transfer window opens? Do they want it done before the early signing period starts? Or does the timeline not matter as much as the individual?
I think this is one of those things where there are layers to it. Like timeline has to take a back seat to getting the hire right.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's one of those things. Best case scenario, you'd get the right guy and you get it done fast. However, if the right guy, whoever that may be, if you're convinced, hey, it's our top target, we have a real shot at him, you're probably willing to wait on him to make it happen, especially if you think internally that there's a gap between him and the next guy. You know, ideally, you'd love to have him by the 5th next Monday, but I don't know if that's realistic at all.
Is that person already hired? Because we're having this conversation post decisions that have been made. right? Marcus Satterfield did not get hired yesterday.
Mm.
My question was, when did Marcus Satterfield get hired to Nebraska? Was it at the beginning of the season? Was it right after Matt Rule got fired? Did he call Marcus, was like, hey, next job I get, you coming with me? When do these things happen? Because we're always, no matter how much inside information we think we might have, we're always talking in review of things that have already happened. So I'm curious to what has already happened. I don't know, but y'all understand how coaching works. These calls have been made already.
Mm-hmm.
We just don't know. And that's what puts everybody on this side in a bad position, because we're talking about things that theoretically could happen, but there are already wheels in motion. We just don't know where.
The wheels may have already stopped.
They may have already. Yes, that's absolutely correct. Somebody may be thinking in their mind, I'm going to be the next OC at South Carolina. But we don't know.
I mean, I would bet a lot of money that the conversations, like with Rule and Satterfield, or Rule and Satterfield's people, some conversation had to have already taken place. Now, I also truly believe it was not official until probably somewhere in that, Sunday into Monday morning. Like, there were still conversations being had, but,
But isn't that more of a how much conversation and not if?
What do you mean?
Like that's not, hey, is Marcus Satterfield going to come join me in Nebraska? It's, am I going to pay him $700,000 or $750,000?
It wasn't quite that simple.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah. And I know why it's like the appearance would be, it should be that simple, but it really wasn't.
So they played Clemson on Saturday. Marcus took the job on Monday.
Mm-hmm.
That's like 36 hours. So in those 36 hours, Matt Rule, great job against Clemson. Hey,
No,
you ever think about?
No,
I mean,
not like that.
Matt, but see, here's the thing. I'm sure you got your boys, right? Like, you got your guys that just whatever it would be, if you needed to make a phone call, that's who you're calling. And so I think Rule and Sat are on that level of, this may have been 2 or 3 weeks ago. Like, hey, or when did Rule get fired? I mean, I imagine
Like
this possibility probably opened up.
Yeah.
Possibility.
Yeah.
Opened up.
But it's like, hey, if you and I are both single when we're 40, let's get married.
Yeah, it's like, you're going to look out for your guys. However, did the 2 weeks change the possibility of Satterfield possibly returning to South Carolina?
Yeah. And so that undoubtedly complicated.
I think that's what we're talking about.
But if the framework was in place in like October.
But Rule didn't know where he was going to be yet in October.
He figured he was going to be somewhere, right?
So here's kind of how I'd simplify it is going into year 2, okay? The thought was, even going into the season, that there was a higher than not likelihood that it would be Marcus Satterfield's last year because A, South Carolina would not improve enough on offense and they would have to make a change. Shane Beamer would. Or B, they were good on offense and there was a good chance that he may go get another job, knowing part of that Rule entered this season on the hot seat. He'd probably have a college job, but it wasn't, and then when Nebraska entered the picture as the job, that made it, but it was not as simple as, well, this opportunity's here and it wasn't quite that simple.
Right. But if at least the seeds were sown whenever, before the season, October, just before Saturday, then you would have to expect that Carolina would have started to sow some seeds of their own.
Yes. If that's what you're getting at.
Yeah.
No doubt.
Yeah. I guess what I'm saying is I haven't coached football, high school football in 5 years. There's 3 people right now that I know if they got a job, they would give me a call. And that's just what it is.
That's a good feeling.
It is. It's a great feeling. It's an awesome feeling for sure. But those deals are done already. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know what, and that's why I'm just wondering how far along in the process is Shane? Did he have his magic list of 3 or 5 that they always say that people keep in their back pocket? You just send, you send them a Christmas card and you say, man, great season. I love what you did against Tennessee. By the way, if it ever comes open, Let's have a conversation.
Then the other layer is the agents involved, and they're constantly sort of, for one, they're working for their guys because they know, hey, hey, my guy would be interested if y'all ever have an opening here, which is sometimes just drumming up, bidding wars, frankly. But a lot of that stuff is going on, which sort of takes some of that burden off the coach's hands because it's being handled behind the scenes. And then it sort of starts the process to where you have a little bit of a starting place that's a little bit further down the road once the head coach gets involved. So I think that's a pretty good way to kind of whittle down some of your candidates too. It's kind of like, well, there's no point in calling this guy. There is no interest. Or it's, hey, coach, this guy, you maybe wouldn't even believe it or know it, but this guy actually is highly interested. Because you never know. Here's what is fascinating about these things. You never know what coach is successful and sitting at a place that behind the scenes he is just not happy. So
Great point.
That's why there's always hires where people go, what? And we're ultimately, these are human beings. So in some cases, you may think on message boards and Twitter, well, we're an SEC school. That's an easy hire. We're going to double his pay. Well, no, he still has a wife and kids. They may be 2 years into high school. They don't want to leave. There's all these actual personal dynamics that play into it. The other side of it, though, is you may be saying, oh, that guy would never leave. Maybe he's not. Maybe he doesn't have full control of the offense. Maybe the guy he works for is one of these people who doesn't let him have any home life. Like there's a million different variables that can go into this.
A lot of tea leaves to read during this time of year. 803-404-6100. A lot of your thoughts rolling in here on the Firehouse Subs text line. You can get us on the phone line as well. That's the Love Chevy phone line, 803-404-6100. All of us available for you on Twitter as well. More thoughts on the OC search next.
More of the Extra Point coming up next on 107.5 The Game.
You wash your hands, you brush your teeth, but what about the nose? How do you clean your nose? With Navage. Navage uses powered suction to pull saline in one nostril, around the back of the nose, and out the other nostril, flushing out allergens, mucus, and germs. And it's why cleaning your nose, the body's air filter, is the next evolution in daily personal hygiene. People try Navage for lots of reasons. Sinusitis, colds, allergies, snoring, things that make it hard to breathe through your nose. But over time, they find that cleaning their nose makes them feel better, a lot better. Over 3 million Navage users have written more than 100,000 reviews, averaging 4.7 stars, saying, best product I've ever used, and amazing, I love my Navage. Navage helps you breathe better, sleep deeper, and snore less, but the biggest payoff is improved health. Navage is good personal hygiene and can help you stay healthier. At Walmart, Walgreens, CVS, Rite Aid, Target, and online. Navage, N-A-V-A-G-E, clean nose, healthy life.
The wait is over. New Chevys are on the lot now, and more are on the way to Herndon Chevrolet. These vehicles are in demand and selling fast, so don't miss out. Stop by your hometown Chevy dealer and shop all your favorite models at prices you'll love. Find new roads at Herndon Chevrolet or visit us online at HerndonChevy.com today.
Herndon Chevrolet, Herndon makes you wanna smile.
Join Move Fitness today for only $10. If you're finally ready to drop the extra pounds, get in shape, and feel better, this is the time to act. Don't wait until all the holiday food and fun adds to your waistline. Join today for only $10. Move is the first step to reach your fitness and weight loss goals. Stop by any club or see us on the web at MUVSC.com. Join the movement. See the results. See clubs for full membership details. Expires 11/30/22.
Welcome your guest into a clean, healthy home this Thanksgiving by calling the cleaning pros at Zero Res Carpet and Air Duct Cleaning. Their patented no residue cleaning system gets your carpets, rugs, and upholstery insanely clean. Take advantage of their fall sale going on now. Get 3 rooms of carpet clean for only $129. And when you mention me, Bill Gunner at 107.5 The Game, you'll get a hallway cleaned for free. Easily schedule your cleaning online at ZeroResColumbia.com. Zero Res, spell it backwards or forwards, is the right way to clean.
You haven't tasted real Carolina barbecue until you've experienced Little Pig's Barbecue. Full-service dine-in buffet with barbecue ribs, brisket, chicken, rice, hash, tomato pie, macaroni and cheese, and many more of your favorites. Eat in or take out. Little Pig's Barbecue on Alpine Road is open from 11 to 2 on Wednesday, 11 to 8 Thursday through Saturday, and 11 to 3 on Sunday. Little Pig's Barbecue on Alpine Road. Little Pig's family looks forward to seeing you soon.
Attention. Did you or a loved one live at or near Marine Base Camp Lejeune in North Carolina between 1953 and 1987? If so, listen closely for this important legal announcement. From 1953 to 1987, Marines and their family members at Camp Lejeune drank water that was contaminated with hazardous toxins. The toxins found in the water at Camp Lejeune may cause health issues, especially later in life. Types of health issues associated with water at Camp Lejeune are numerous. If you or a loved one lived near Camp Lejeune between 1953 and 1987, you may be entitled to substantial financial compensation without going to court. Even if you were turned down in the past, a new law can allow you to file a claim today. If you or a loved one spent time near Camp Lejeune, call the Negligence Network to find out if you're eligible for financial compensation. There's no fee unless we win your case. Call 1-800-700-4333. That's 1-800-700-4333. 1-800-700-4333.
Offer not valid in all states or where prohibited by law. Loans are subject to lender approval. See website for details.
Wait. Tell me, where'd you get that money?
Oh, this? Oh, man. All this money came from 43money.com right online.
Are you saying you went to 43money.com and got all that money you needed fast?
Man, you know it. I went to 43money.com yesterday and bam, $5,000 was in my account today. Straight up.
Now, hold on. 43money.com helped you get $5,000 like that?
Yeah, man, that's right. 43money.com's lenders provide personal loans for up to $5,000 for people like you and me, even if you don't have good credit.
Man, I'm always short on cash. Can 43money.com help me get the money I need fast?
If you need extra money fast, go to 43money.com. Just have a checking account and a regular source of income. Go to 43money.com and you can get the loan you need now. Regardless of your credit, go to 43money.com to get the money you need fast. Type www.43money.com directly into the address bar. That's 43money.com. Again, 43money.com. 43money.com.
Gamecocks head football coach Shane Beamer will be on the halftime show with Jay and Terry today on your home of the Gamecocks, 107.5 The Game.
It's the Gamecock Central Takeover Hour, presented by Firehouse Subs, founded by firemen with Pearson Fowler, Chris Clark, and Wes Mitchell on the home of the Gamecocks, 107.5 The Game.
11:38 Tuesday morning. Welcome back into the Gamecock Central Takeover Hour. Wes, Chris, Preston, Pearson here with you in the Herndon Chevy Studios. Appreciate you making us a part of your morning here. A lot to get to. Plenty of OC talk, transfer portals, recruits, everything kind of hinging on a couple of key decisions for Shane Beamer. And I'll steal Preston's point earlier and set you up, Wes and Chris, because I mentioned that this was a rare scenario where it seemed like everybody won. Matt Rule got a job. Satterfield got hired away from South Carolina, so Shane Beamer didn't, not that he necessarily would have. We don't know exactly what direction they would have gone this offseason, but Shane Beamer was saved from having to make a tough decision. They're off the hook, as Preston put it, but he still has another tough decision ahead of him. So Preston and I talked about this earlier. Wes, some of the names that have been mentioned, for example, like the three names on the hot list that Chris published on Central yesterday, Garrett Riley, clearly established Lincoln-Riley relationship. Kendall Briles, whom South Carolina fans have been talking about for 2 years. And then somebody like Willie Korn. Does Shane Beamer, do you think there is a specific pressure or motivation to go with somebody more established as opposed to taking a swing on someone that might be an up-and-comer but maybe has less of a resume?
I mean, I think every fan has their own approach to what they would like to see Beamer do if you're talking about the pressure from the fan base. Ideally, I think there is an advantage to bringing in a guy who's done it before. However, I personally I like the idea of up-and-comer that's done it at a smaller level. I even think you maybe have a better chance going that direction versus, going out and getting the next big name guy that's maybe already at a big school but isn't necessarily the play caller. I want me personally, I want the guy that has dialed him up and has been in that situation, has been in that I mean, you're talking about a 15-second window after every single play. That I mean, this isn't easy. It's not easy to be a successful play caller at the highest level when you are being fed so much information in between a play, and then you have to come up with a play that works versus what defense you think they're going to run, works with your personnel, works with down and distance, works with game flow, works with how much time is left and how much you're up or down by. I mean, it's complicated. So I think having a guy, even if it's at a smaller level, that has done it and has been the guy is massive. And I think, the thing with Satterfield that I sort of thought was an issue possibly from the beginning is he came in without truly having a system that you knew for sure what they were going to do, what they wanted to be. They even talked about that publicly. They went through that first spring trying to figure out what best fit their talent. And I think, yes, there to an extent, you have to fit what you're going to be to your talent. We all know that. But there was never just like a, hey, this is what he does. This is what he wants to do. So I personally, I'm not making the hire, obviously, but personally, I would lean towards bringing in a guy who has a system, a scheme. This is what I'm tied to. This is what I do.
Wes wants to stumping for Bill Korn.
He wants to he wants to find the next what's his name, Mike Yurkich. Remember how Mike Gundy hired him at Oklahoma State?
Didn't he Google him?
He Googled him. He just Googled stats, like NCAA category leaders at, I don't even remember what level. Because he came from, his last two stops before Oklahoma State were Shippensburg and Edinburgh. And those are not Premier League teams. They sound like it.
Like a Ted Lasso hire.
Shippensburg. And since then he's been at Oklahoma State, Ohio State, Texas, and Penn State. He's done well for himself.
I'm not mad at that. That sounds very silly to make that hire, but that's not more silly than just, hey, we went to high school together, so I'm gonna hire you. So
well, because you can also hire, like, there are big names that you could hire for whether it's a position coach or a coordinator, and we've seen that even here before. And you're like, well, this guy's been to this place, and then they get here, and the results are not replicable. It's not replicated here, so it's much more important to find a guy that A, has been successful, and B, that you believe and or know would be better. You can never really know, but that you believe can be successful here also.
So if Shane Beamer was going to take the Mike Gundy route, what would each one of you want Shane Beamer to Google in order to get your offensive coordinator? So Mike Gundy Googled stats. What would be the thing that you would want Shane Beamer to Google to come up with our
started cracking. He just Googled stats. No other
Stats.
context.
Offensive stats. So would it be efficiency rate? What would be the thing that would be important to you all?
That is
I know
funny.
what Wes is Googling.
What's Wes Googling?
Success rate.
Success rate is important. I've been doing some reading. Give me, I think, explosive plays, like explosive play rate would be big, but also just quite simply, give me the guy at any level that has put up consistently points at a place where you go, I didn't know that's a place. They have a football team, and then you dive in. All right, did he miraculously find an under the radar quarterback who was like just way better than everybody else?
No.
And I actually, in a weird way, would maybe hold that against him.
Mm.
But I'm very much in line with the let's look for the guy that nobody's heard of.
Well, I was trying to find it yesterday because I thought I saw this on Twitter. Maybe I completely made it up, but Will Helms tweeted out something like, another year, and I'll say again, this guy's the best offensive coordinator in football, and it wasn't anyone that I've heard of. And I'm not like Heath Klein could probably name all 10 assistant coaches for all 131 FBS teams from memory. I'm not that guy, so maybe it's someone else that people know. But I do love that idea. I think I would just go for yards per carry.
Okay.
That's all I want.
So you say
7 yards a carry.
So whatever OC has the highest yards per carry.
Yep.
Whoever has the best running back.
Hire him.
Well, no, what I want is part of the reason that Kendall Briles is so interesting because he runs the triple option at Arkansas. Like that's awesome. Or Bill Corn at Coastal. Like they run the triple option. Like that's get creative. Okay, part of it's because all season long I felt like Carolina could have scored 40 points a game if they ran the Georgia Tech triple option with Luke Doty, Marshawn Lloyd, and Jaheim Bell. Like that's all I wanted to see all season. So I just want to see somebody run the hell out of the football.
So then when it comes up, when you have the yards per carry, when that comes up and you got your list, you know how when you're shopping for stuff, do you sort it in relevance of contracts like highest to lowest? Or since we now got to buy this guy's contract, are you going to look for the highest guy, the lowest guy? What are you looking for here? Yelp reviews. What are we doing?
I don't want the highest guy. I also don't want the lowest guy. Maybe I'll go the middlest guy.
Right in the middle.
Yeah. Maybe that's a cop out. I don't know. What are you Googling?
I think I'm going to Google to steal Chris's thunder. I must pay him. Turnovers.
Oh, okay.
I'm going to Google turnovers, least turnovers. Which offensive coordinator had the least turnovers? Let's Google them up.
It's probably someone that runs a triple option.
Just bring them in here for a conversation.
I'm looking at a couple things. Number one, I want to look back at the history, his quarterbacks. What kind of numbers have they put up? And if they're really, really good quarterbacks that you know are talented, fine. But if you can find a place where you got, I've never heard of that quarterback, or like, is he a draftable type of guy? If your quarterback's putting up really good numbers, because I'll go back to the notion of a quarterback-friendly system. Ultimately, I think that's what you got to have. I would also pay attention to third down conversion percentage.
Yeah.
If you kind of look, not always, it's not like a direct causation, but I do feel like there's a correlation between, if you look up teams that score a lot of points, they're normally pretty good on third down because they're not getting themselves in a lot of terrible situations.
You want a list of the best teams at third down conversion percentage this year?
Let's do it.
Washington, Michael Penix, Southern Cal,
Kalen DeBoer, great offensive coach.
Minnesota.
Yeah, they should hire him.
Florida State, Georgia, UCLA, Kansas, Utah, Central Florida, UTSA. And then we'll go LSU at number 11, Clemson at number 12. Interesting. Ole Miss at 13. So there we go. That's more than 10. But that's mostly really good offenses.
Also, I love that stat because I feel like if you're converting on third down, you're probably dialing up some ball plays. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I feel like you're probably calling some stuff.
How about Minnesota? James Franklin firing Kirk Soraka, I think is how you pronounce his name. Goes back to Minnesota, tearing it up, having a good year. Yep.
There you go. 803-404-6100. Love Chevy phone line. Firehouse Subs text line. All of us on Twitter. It's award season, which doesn't really mean anything, but there were two notable snubs for South Carolina that we all need to collectively bitch about in just a minute.
More of the Extra Point coming up next on 107.5 The Game.
It's time to remodel. Actually, it's been time to remodel, but you still haven't started. Well, there's no better time than right now. I'm Eddie Springer of Trey-Cal Builders, and we really do make remodeling your kitchen, bedroom, bathroom, or whole house easy. At Trey-Cal, we'll help you every step of the way. We do first-class work quickly, cleanly, and affordably. Call 360-8211. 360-8211 or visit TRECALbuilders.com. Trey-Cal Builders, quality from start to finish.
Managing your online presence takes time, effort, and expertise. It can overwhelm even the savviest business owner. So, meet Cumulus Boosts. We're experts at boosting the online presence for businesses of every type. We make sure potential customers can easily find you and really like what they find. Your website, online listings, consumer reviews, and more. Cumulus Boost, online at cumulusboost.com. CUMULUS Boost.com.
Are you ready to capture the moment of life's peak experience? Peak Drift Brewing Company is launching craft beer and hard seltzers to your favorite bars, stores, and restaurants on December 5th. We've captured the peak experiences of the Blue Ridge Mountains and the relaxing drift of the Congaree River with our Golden Ale, New England IPA, Red IPA, Berry Crumble Sour, and Fire Pit Ale. Find your peak drift moment at peakdriftbrewing.com.
Cashback supplies. Not available on gas in New Jersey and Wisconsin.
Susan, I'm sorry I'm late. Traffic is terrible.
It sure is. But on top of that, gas prices have been skyrocketing. I can't believe how expensive gas has gotten recently.
Prices at the pump are up, but I never pay full price for gas anymore. I just use the free Upside app that pays you cash back for every gallon of gas you buy.
Wait a minute. Are you saying you actually get paid cash when you buy gas with the Upside app?
Yes, I get real cash back every time I buy gas.
And does that actually add up to anything?
I've made around $200.
Wow, that's serious extra cash. I'm downloading the free Upside app now.
Download the free Upside app to earn real cash back every time you buy gas. Use promo code AUTO for an extra 25 cents per gallon cash back on your first fill-up. You can cash out anytime right to your bank account, to PayPal, or an e-gift card for Amazon and other brands. Just download the free Upside app and use promo code AUTO for a 25 cents per gallon bonus on your first tank. That's code AUTO for 25 cents per gallon cash back on your first fill-up.
Hello, I'm Roy Finley.
And I'm Dana Finley, owners of AAA Heating and Air.
South Carolina's crazy weather is hard on your HVAC system. If your unit is living on borrowed time, replace it now with AAA's best deal of the year.
AAA Heating and Air will give you an instant rebate of $1,500 plus 0% financing with no money down and a 15-year parts and labor warranty.
This offer is for a limited time. Get 15 years of worry-free operation. A $1,500 savings with 0% financing with no money down for qualified buyers. Call AAA today at 677-1500.
That's a $1,500 rebate, 0% financing, no money down. Call AAA today at 677-1500.
Like the weather, this offer won't last. Call today and we'll install your new unit tomorrow. Call 677-1500. That's 677-1500.
AAA Air when you need us. AAA Heating and Air.
When you come home to a floor covered in water, a backed up bathroom, or a water heater break, call Pulliam Restoration. We handle all water emergencies, including attics and crawl spaces. At Pulliam Restoration, we have the guaranteed fastest response time and pride ourselves on getting to you in minutes, not hours. I'm Robert Pulliam. An emergency to you is an emergency to us. It's your choice who you use in an emergency. Choose Pulliam Restoration. We're ready 24/7. Pulliam247.com or call us at 803-PULLIAM.
Broadcasting live from the Herndon Chevrolet Studios. This is 1075 The Game. Stop by or shop online today and see why Herndon Chevrolet makes you smile. It's the Gamecock Central Takeover Hour, presented by Firehouse Subs, founded by firemen with Pearson Fowler, Chris Clark, and Wes Mitchell on the home of the Gamecocks, 1075 The Game.
Couple minutes left here on a Tuesday morning. It's the Gamecock Central Takeover Hour. Pearson, Preston, Chris, Wes here with you. We need to complain about the Ray Guy Award and the Broyles Award, listing their finalists today. But first, I've had this text sitting here for a while that I've been wanting to read, and I got to ask you guys, not to try to, hopefully this doesn't send us off down like a huge rabbit hole. But unnamed texter says, Spencer Rattler, ? He'll make more money as a senior next year than he would as a third-string quarterback in the NFL. His NIL valuation is like $1 million right now.
But that doesn't signify what he actually is getting.
Okay.
We talked about big tech and how valuations.
Yeah.
Anybody out there, please don't.
But do we think he'd be on an active NFL roster this time next year?
Yes.
Really?
If he got drafted, yeah.
But I don't think he'd get drafted.
He would get drafted. It's probably day 3 right now.
Yeah. But if you get drafted in the 6th round, there's no guarantee to make the team.
For sure.
Yeah.
But there's quarterbacks are scarce. Yeah. And quarterbacks with that arm talent are even more scarce. Yeah. And the thing about the NFL is that it only takes one. And there's somebody out there that's probably going to be in love with his arm.
They're going to watch this guy spin the ball, and somebody out there, probably multiple teams, are going to be like, oh, yeah, we'll spend a 5th or 6th round pick and continue to develop him, I think. So I think he would 100% be on a roster. Now, is he going to be drafted where he, I'm sure, envisioned and dreamed of, when he started this whole journey? No. So, I think there's something to be said for that. But, there would have to be the infrastructure in place and the donors in place to provide that money if he was going to come back in that
You
scenario.
don't think after beating Clemson and Tennessee like that, though, that he could parlay that into some dough?
Well, yeah, on his end, yeah.
Not
But
even close.
people have to do it.
Yeah.
They have to give it.
Chris, are you more upset that Pete Limbo is not a Broyles finalist or that Kai Kroger is not a Ray Guy finalist?
I figured you were going to ask that. I've run that one through in my head. You know, big Pete Limbo fan with what he's done. But man, there are a lot of really good coaches on that list that have had great years. Garrett Riley's one of them. So it's like, okay, I get it. Yeah, I get it. For Kai Kroger to not be on that list, that's the worst. That's
top punter in the SEC, second in the country.
Yeah.
Like, not that it should just be the top 5 punters in the country, like based on stats, average yards per punt or down inside the 20 or whatever, but that should be a guide, right?
Yes. Well, I'm proud to announce that in light of recent events, we have established the Gamecock Central Kai Kroger Best Punter in the Universe Award, and the first winner is none other than Kai Kroger. So, congrats,
Congratulations, Kai.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, the awards are stupid. They don't mean anything anyway, but that's got to be aggravating. Especially Shane Beamer had to go through this all last year with Parker White, too.
But this is even worse than the Parker White snub.
Yeah.
Like
we riot.
He'll be on with Jay and the guys at 12:30, right?
Yep.
Tune in to hear an epic rant from Beamer.
Okay, good.
I mean, surely, right?
Yeah.
Oh,
Like
yeah.
he has it.
He's already
teed
tweeted about
up.
it.
He's tweeted about it, so he has it teed up. It'll be epic.
Yeah. These awards don't mean anything. Sidney Rice and Alshon Jeffrey never won Biletnikoff awards. Kevin Harris didn't win the Doak Walker Award leading the SEC in rushing.
Yeah, but it's like the Grammys. He's not even. We're saying he's not even Grammy nominated.
Right.
That's come on.
Yeah, he didn't make like the montage. of the video
you don't
clips.
His name's
come
not
on,
going to be on the video.
Yeah, if you're putting together a highlight of the best punts of the season, are you telling me you're going to do it without a Kai Kroger punt? A 63-yard bomb stopping itself at the 2-yard line?
It's going to be all Rutgers punts or whatever.
Disgusting.
Probably, maybe that was a volume pick. Didn't they punt a lot this year
Yeah,
at
must have
Rutgers?
been.
Winner for the most punts.
Yeah.
Iowa.
Surprised it wasn't Carolina, to be honest. But anyway, despicable, disgusting. We might have an official statement from the Ray Guy Foundation tomorrow, potentially. There's your tease. That's all we have time for today. Appreciate you listening. As always, halftime show's coming up next. And as Chris mentioned, don't forget Shane Beamer coming up just about 30 minutes.
Celebrating our 15th anniversary is Columbia's sports talk station.
WNKT-FM, Eastover, Columbia.
107.5 The Game.
The wait is over. New Chevys are on the lot now, and more are on the way to Herndon Chevrolet. These vehicles are in demand and selling fast, so don't miss out. Stop by your hometown Chevy dealer and shop all your favorite models at prices you'll love. Find new roads at Herndon Chevrolet or visit us online at HerndonChevy.com today.
Herndon Chevrolet, Herndon makes you wanna smile. Smile.
Life moves until back, neck, or shoulder pain hits and brings you to a stop. That's why there's the Joint Chiropractic, an easy and affordable way to relieve pain and help keep you moving. At the Joint, there's no appointment or insurance hassles, and we're open evenings and weekends. Visit today to keep your life moving with our $29 new patient special, including an exam, consultation, and chiropractic.